What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Lead 222 podcast. My name is Dave Hutke, and we are all about helping you lead a healthy life, family, and ministry. And if you don't have a coach or mentor, go to lead222.com. Love to plug you in. Very excited for our conversation today. And our guest, who is a friend and just love this guy. And so Larry Gonzalez is joining us today. He's the youth pastor at Highland Park Church in Lakeland, Florida. Larry, welcome to the
Hello,
podcast.
hello. Hey, thanks for having me, Dave. Man, I love Lead 222. I've been blessed by Lead 222. So this is like a special I'm just humbled
Oh
and grateful
man,
that I get to be a part of this, man. Thank you so
love
much.
it.
Yeah.
Love it. So Larry, what else should our listeners know about you? Now I know you just got engaged, so
Yes, sir.
congratulations.
Yes, sir. Man, God is good. My mom was like, it's about time. But I'm like, man, it's worth waiting for
Yeah.
God's best. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah, I'm excited. We are engaged. We are looking to get married in February. Got a date down.
Got the
It's
date
good. Oh yeah.
ready. That's
Yeah,
good.
man. God is
Well, so
good.
excited for you. And to all of you listening, I wanted to have Larry on because, I just get so encouraged by what God is doing through Larry, but who Larry is. And, we talk monthly in our coaching calls. And what I've been hearing about how many students have been coming,
Mm.
students coming to Christ, his leaders just getting behind the vision and what's happening. And I really wanted to bring him on and for him to share with all of us today. And so we're talking about creating an invite culture. And an invite culture is where our students want to bring their friends, right? It's
Mm.
like they love what God's doing, and it's a can't miss experience. And
Right.
they want their friends to love it just as much as they do. They want their friends to hear about Jesus, and so that's what we're talking about today. And so, Larry, you've seen tremendous growth in this last year, and tell us a little bit more about what God's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, God has been moving in a powerful way. Uh, we last year we were averaging maybe about uh 80 students, 85 middle school students. So I just went through a transition where for the last year and a half, I was the middle school pastor. Recently took over the entire youth ministry and leading the youth ministry, and my fiance is actually now co-pastoring with me, which is an amazing thing. And so she's overseeing middle school, and I'm now overseeing high school. But it's been really cool to just kind of see the momentum build within our youth ministry, specifically with middle school. We're averaging about 85 students every Wednesday night, and we've doubled that where we uh
Wow.
uh starting what January we were seeing about 160 students. Recently we've been averaging about 180. We had a night where we reached 198 students in one night, which was awesome to see. And it's just really cool because I think that's just
Almost 200 middle schoolers.
almost 200 middle schoolers. It's insane. And so it's so fun. It's interesting. We would the language we were using at first was like, man, it's chaotic.
Yeah.
But we've learned that no, there's a lot of energy and
Yeah.
excitement, and
Energy.
so there's a lot of it. But it's been so cool. We've been seeing we've been tracking kind of like even our baptisms and seeing that the last 2 months we've seen 34 students get baptized.
Wow.
Some cool things have happened too, where this past Sunday we had two parents get baptized, and they came to church through their student. Like their student
Oh,
came to church
that is
first.
awesome.
So getting to see that has been amazing. We have 5 more students getting baptized this upcoming Sunday. So God is moving in a powerful way. And we just see students getting excited to invite their friends, and that's like the biggest, like, you know celebration, props, shout out that we can get as a youth ministry is that students want their friends to come. They're not going to invite their friends to something that they don't like, that they don't enjoy, that they don't you know
Yeah.
find meaning in. And so it's so cool to see that. Yeah.
Man, that is amazing. And hearing those students come to Christ and get baptized, parents even coming,
Man, it's
like
amazing.
that's wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So okay, so if you could pinpoint, one area that has been key in your growth in creating this invite culture, what would you say, what would that be?
Yeah, I think it starts with the vision. So we have a clear vision, and I know it lead 222. You say that vision drives everything,
That's right.
and we 100% agree with that. And we recently, in the last year, we had a lead pastor transition, and so we have a new lead pastor. He's been here now for a little over a year, but with that came a new vision. And Dave, I've never been a part of a church that the vision has been so clear. Um, at Northview, actually, I was a part of Northview a few
Yep.
years ago. That church, I mean, when I was there, the vision was clear. It was very clear. But I wasn't in the leadership position where I am now and where I have been the last few years. But now more than ever, I'm like, man, it's so important to have a clear vision to where you're going as a church. And I think it's so important. And I know some youth ministries aren't you don't have um you don't have this. So like maybe you don't have a clear vision as a church, or maybe you're the vision as a church, it's probably hard to kind of align the youth ministry with that. But I think if you can write a vision, or just honestly take a vision that's tied to your church. It has to be tied to your church in order to get buy-in from volunteers, from
Mm.
parents, from the leadership as a whole. So for us, we didn't write a different vision for our youth ministry. Our vision is the church's vision. And it's just so easy the way it translates to our youth ministry. I know many times that may not be the case, so you have to write out a vision for your youth ministry, but we've been blessed to have a
So what
clear
is that?
vision for our
So
church.
what's the vision that you guys have
Yeah.
right now that's linked and aligned, right? As a church and youth ministry.
Yeah. Yeah. So we say that here at Highland Park, we want to see people experience community, claim encounter God, claim purpose, and pursue calling. And then our mission is that we're obsessed with the one. We're obsessed with those that are doubting, done with religion, disengaged with faith, and those are the people that we are after. And so we constantly repeat that. We
Mhm.
constantly repeat that. We constantly say that we're not a cruise ship, we're a battleship, and so every opportunity that we get, every rally, every debrief, every meeting, staff meeting, strategic meeting, volunteer meeting, we always start off with the vision. We always start off mentioning the vision, so it's always in front of us.
So
um
you're saying that even like with your rally, with your leaders before programming, you're talking about it. Um, you're communicating it in all your emails and communication forms, right? Are you
yeah.
communicating that even on, the stage and with your students and things like that?
Everywhere. It's on social media. It's on stage. We share it all the time. Any opportunity we have, like even in our sermons, like there it's just so easy to tie one piece to it, because everything that we're doing as a church and as a body, um uh it's all tied with the vision and mission that God has given us. Even in our merch, like we just came out with merch, and it has like our like our logo, our little icons for each like
Okay.
piece of the
Yeah.
vision. And so it's in front of us at all times. In our rallies, like we don't have like a pre-service meeting. It isn't a meeting to give information.
Yeah.
It's a rally to get our
Yeah. I
volunteers and
love
our
that
students,
language.
you know, in just focused in on what the goal is for that evening or that event, whatever we have. So it's so key.
That is so good, Larry. And I had a former lead pastor mentor of mine, and he always used to tell me, you want to get to a place where you share the vision and win so often that you get sick and tired of it
Yes.
yourself, right? And once you get to a place where you're just like just so tired of saying it, where you feel like you're just repeating yourself all
Yep.
the time, he said that's actually the beginning of when people are really
Right.
starting to get it and understand it, and for them to start
Yes.
repeating it.
Yeah, we say if you're not sick of saying it, they haven't heard it yet.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. And, for some of, everybody listening, a couple questions just to even consider when you're thinking about your vision and mission, and what percentage of stakeholders in the ministry can repeat the vision statement and the wins? I think that's a good evaluation. And
Yep.
if I can ask one of my leaders or one of my, and ask them, hey, like, what would you say is the vision, that we're
Right.
doing here? And if they can't say it, then it's like we've got some more work to do.
Right. And sometimes they're not gonna say it, word for word,
Yeah.
but what's behind what they're saying will tell you if they've
Right.
captured it or not. I recently had a meeting with our some of our student leaders, and I asked them, what are you trying to get out of this student leadership program? And my goal was to see if they were there to consume and get something
Mm.
out of it, which they will. But if their motives, if their goal was to do something for others, was to serve, was to be on mission and vision, and it was so cool to hear them in their own words share what we're trying to do as a church. And so, um,
Wow.
and it comes with that. It comes with sharing the vision, but not only sharing the vision, but sharing stories, intentional stories, and celebrating things that are tied to the vision, tied to what you want to see. So you have to just repeat and celebrate. You have to constantly repeat and celebrate what you want to see in your ministry. And
Mm.
that's what we do with our invite culture. We repeat it, we share it in every opportunity that we get, and we celebrate every time a student invites, every time, you know, a student gets baptized, because these are the things that we want to see. So we constantly repeat it and celebrate it.
No, that's so good. Yeah, what you celebrate gets repeated, and that's just part of sharing the vision and mission too, right? Like you're really showcasing the results of that. And what's so
Yep.
powerful about this is that when everyone is pulling in the same direction
Yep.
at the same time with the same purpose, right? Like it's
Mm.
amazing what God will do. So you're talking about students, and kind of the leadership team and different things, but how have you seeing your students take ownership in this?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, students are inviting their friends. They want us to know that they brought their friends. They're wanting to lead and share their stories. They're showing up on Sundays to celebrate their friends who are getting baptized. Like these parents, this parent who one of the parents who got baptized this past Sunday, like there were students there that showed up on Sunday to see this mom get baptized, you
Wow.
know. And we make a big deal out of it. Like before the week before she got baptized, we knew that she had signed up her son, who's an eighth grader in our ministry. When he told me, as soon as he told me, we're sharing this story on the rally in the rally. And I remember that week I asked him, I was like, hey Drew, can you share with us, with the team, what's happening this Sunday? And he said, my mom's getting baptized, and he's
Wow.
seeing everybody, just cheer and celebrate that. And same thing after the week after, the Wednesday after that. And so students are owning that, but a lot of it too is like, what we're doing to create that student ownership is we're inviting students to be in everything, to lead in everything. Any opportunity we're identifying giftings, we're identifying what students are passionate about, and we're inviting them to specific meetings. So if we have creative students, we're inviting them to be a part of the creative planning. If we have students that are very passionate about what's being taught, what's being preached, like we invite them to be in the meetings, or when we're creating content and sermon prepping and stuff. And our leader nights, our volunteer nights, it's not just nights where adults are. Like we invite student leaders to be a part of that, so they're constantly hearing the vision, they're constantly hearing what we're celebrating, they're hearing our why, and they want to be a part of that. And the other thing is, the more you the more opportunities you create for students to serve and lead, the more they're going to want to invite their friends to come see what
Mm,
they're a part of. So it's
mm.
super key. Yeah.
Wow, that's really good, Larry. With creating an invite culture, creating an environment for growth, you talk about the students engaging, but you also have to have, especially middle school, you have to have a great adult leader team, right? I mean, that's vital in being able to not just have chaos, right? But it's
Mm,
having energy,
yes.
but also moving in a direction, where creating an environment where God can move, and then being in small groups and having discussions and things like that. And so I know, as we've talked throughout this as well, that's you got to have a great team, but you've had some hard conversations,
Yeah.
and that have been paramount for building the right culture with all of this. So just kind of share a little bit about that.
Yeah. Man. So a couple things here. One, people are talking always. People are talking, leaders, students, people are talking always. The question is, what are they talking about? What are they
Mm,
saying about the ministry? You know, are they sharing the vision? Are they sharing stories? Are they celebrating? Or are they complaining? Or are they frustrated? Sharing, and not just
yeah,
complaining about things maybe that are, not important, or but sometimes it's just we're giving them valid reasons why,
yeah.
and a lot of that comes with um not allowing people to be in the conversation when it comes to carrying the vision, creating the culture. The more you allow people in, the more they're going to buy in,
Mm,
and so what we've done is we've created a initiative, like, to be very intentional in identifying team leads. And so we've identified team leads, people that are available, people that are bought in, people that are in our rallies. So our rallies and debriefs, our lead pastor has told us the purpose of our rallies and our debriefs is to identify our leaders, is to identify those that are wanting to carry the vision and carry the culture. And so in those rallies and debriefs, when we're like, hey, what are we celebrating? Or, hey, what do we need to make better? If all we're hearing every time is like, yeah, students are just on their phones, or students are just talking, then they haven't really fully captured the vision just yet. But
mm,
if you're seeing that leaders are celebrating the wins, that are sharing stories that they're seeing of transformation, um, then those are the people that you want to identify and bring them in to start helping you carry the culture. So a lot of our conversations are on that, on sharing the why and sharing the wins. And so here's the cool thing, is that the more you allow people to buy in, to come in and hear the vision and be a part of carrying the vision, the less hard conversations you have to have,
that's good.
because your teams are having them. you know I'll
Yeah.
give you an example. We recently had a new student who came in, and he came in with a Playboy bunny logo shirt. And we had a volunteer who shared some concerns with that, and what that looks like. And if a picture of the student popped up on social media, parents would be upset and wouldn't want to bring their friends in, or wouldn't want to bring their kids to our youth ministry. And she shared that with another volunteer, and our volunteer, who I had a conversation, an hour-long conversation prior to this, about the vision, about where we're going.
Mhm.
He knew exactly where we were going and where we were headed. So when that was brought up, he had that hard conversation with her and said, hey, this is why we're here. We're here for this student. The fact that this student is here is a win, because he gets to know Jesus. He gets to hear about Jesus. And so,
That's
um,
good. They're
so
having
yes,
it on your behalf, right?
yes,
You're duplicating yourself.
100%. Yeah. And so those are some of the hard conversations. Some of the other hard conversations is sometimes even within your staff, within your teams, your leadership, of just, if you know that the vision gives you permission to have some hard
Mhm,
conversations.
mhm,
And so if you know that you're going somewhere and maybe someone on your team or a volunteer isn't really aligned with the vision, you don't have to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
You say, hey, this is where we're headed, and this doesn't align with where we're headed. This is the vision that we believe God has given us. And so those hard conversations, they're uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Um, but when you have a clear vision, you don't have to be the bad guy, because it's all tied and it's all pointed
Mhm.
to the vision that you have.
Yeah, that's really good, Larry, and it's so true, and if you're not having that direction or that passion around that vision, then you really don't have those hard conversations
Right.
either, so it's so important to have that vision and mission, but also letting that direct you. And then that helps you with those conversations like, here's where we're going, and
Yeah.
here's why. So that's really good. So, how has systems and processes
Mm.
helped you in creating and sustaining your invite culture? Especially right, you're getting all these students to show up, and then what?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting. I think in youth ministry, uh, we tend to uh, focus a lot on the service elements, and those are important. How good of a speaker I am, and all that, and those things are important pieces to grow in. And but the most important thing I believe is making those connections with students. And the truth is I can't make a connection with every single student, especially when we have,
Right.
200 middle schoolers. But when we have a process and a system, a follow-up process, where we could invite other leaders to step in, where we no longer have just volunteers who are just small group leaders. Like, we have intentional roles within our ministry that help us do that. And so we've invited some of our team to be a part of creating some workflows and processes, and something practical. Planning Center has this amazing tool through Planning Center people called workflows, and we've created a workflow for each element. So new student follow up, baptism follow up, a volunteer follow up. And so we
Oh,
have a
that's great.
workflow for each of those things. And so for like a new student, what we do is we reach out. We have a leader reach out, a pastor reach out. So it's either me or Rachel, who's my fiance. One of us will reach out. A leader will reach out, and then a student will reach out. And so we're trying to build those small connections so that
Mhm.
students feel more comfortable to come back the following week. Um, and then we just there's some key metrics that we're tracking, to help us identify where we're at, and just the growth track. Why are we growing? So some of the things that we're tracking how many new students are coming each week. We're tracking how many students are serving, how many students are getting baptized. What about our volunteer numbers? How many volunteers are we gaining? And so that gives us a sense. It allows us to see where we're at as far as like our vision and mission. And so, but every single one of those metrics has a process and a follow-up that we track. And so there's some other practical things within that process. Like, um I don't spend a lot of time in the office. There a lot of time that a lot of my office hours are meeting with volunteers. And so part part of creating that invite
Yeah.
culture and making sure that the vision drives everything is to make sure that the vision is in front of our my volunteers and our leaders. And so I'm constantly meeting with them outside of office hours. Um and then the other part is we're collecting and sharing stories always. They like our students and our leaders need to know the why are we doing what we're doing. And so we share those stories through rallies, text, social media, video. Um, but every and any opportunity, and that's the cool thing, is when you're tracking, um the students that are giving their life to Jesus, the students that are getting baptized, the students that are serving, um, you're able to connect with that student, reach out to that student and say, hey, why did you get baptized? Why did you give your life to Jesus? Why are you coming? How did you get here? And then you get to know, hey, this student came through our sports ministry, or this student came because this student invited them.
Mm,
And then you're able to pinpoint some of those connections, and you're able to share these stories. And so it's so important to track uh the numbers, track the names of each student, because the numbers aren't the goal, but the numbers are, they do show you where you're at. They do show you, if you're on track with the
mhm.
vision, or if you're, because it's so
Oh
easy.
yeah.
There's so much that happens within youth ministry. There's so much that even another cool thing, like on your week to week, there's so many things, so many places, so many people that are going to try to pull you one way or the other. I have people in the community that are like, hey, we'd love for you to be a part of this event. We'd love for your students
Yep.
to be a part of this. And it's like, and it's so easy to say yes to these things,
Right.
because I think sometimes we think that if we stay busy, it looks like
Yep.
we're doing what we're supposed to. But you could get busy with a lot of things
Oh
that
yeah.
aren't the, they could be good things, but they're not God things, or they could be the good things, but they're not things that are aligned with your vision, and they'll take you somewhere else.
Yeah.
So this is why the vision and key metrics and processes are so important, because they keep you on track, um, to reach your goal. So
Oh man,
yeah,
that is gold, Larry, and you did such a great job on that. Follow up is a lot of it's discipleship.
yes,
Discipleship is a lot
oh
of just
yeah,
little follow ups all along the way. And think about Jesus and the 12 disciples, and living day in and day out. I mean, it was a lot of follow-ups,
yeah,
right? Like
right,
there's follow-up conversations there. There's things that he's sending them out on, and asking them to do ministry, and then they're processing it, and then they're talking about it. And so it's
yeah,
a lot of follow-up. I'd encourage you too, you guys, we dive in a little bit deeper in intentional follow-up on episode 56 with Justin Knowles. And so you can check that podcast out as well. So Larry, as we kind of just finish and wrap up here, by the way, this is so good, Larry. So as we talk about an invite culture, right? Larry is a youth pastor. You've received coaching and been a part of Lead 222. How would you invite other youth pastors not involved or don't have a coach or mentor? Like take a moment here, invite
yeah,
them into our community and to have a coach and mentor, and just the value, right, of Second Timothy 2:2 and not doing ministry alone.
yeah, yeah. I would just say it is easier, it is way better to do ministry with other people, people that have gone ahead of you, people that have done this before. I am somebody who I don't have all the answers, and I don't think anybody does. And so for me, I have learned to capitalize and be intentional with reaching out to the people that have offered leadership
Mhm.
and mentorship. And so Dave has been somebody that's been consistent in my growth and in my just my leadership growth, my development as a leader and a pastor. And I wouldn't be where I am today without the guidance and leadership of someone like Dave and other pastors and mentors that are in my life. I think so many times, when you're young and early on in your ministry path and journey, you want to prove yourself.
Mhm.
And I think you don't need to. I think the best thing to do is no, like, just be honest and say, hey, I don't know how to do it all, but I have a lot of people around me, intentional people that do know, how to get this done, and I could tap into them, and I could reach out and get guidance. And I think Lead 222 is one of those organizations that are very intentional to create those opportunities for you to have people in your life that will help you grow and help you, not make the mistakes. Sometimes it's just that, like, You know,
Yeah.
you don't need to make the mistakes that
Yeah, that's right.
you don't have to repeat mistakes that others have already
Mhm.
gone through and learned from. You could just learn from them. And so I'm so thankful for Dave and his leadership and guidance. And my hope is that other youth pastors out there who are hearing this will tap into that, and your ministry, you'll see the growth in your life and in your ministry.
Mm.
And that's what the church is. We're a
Yeah.
body, you know. So
Yep.
yeah.
Oh man, love you, bro. So
Oh,
proud
I
of
love you too.
you. And so, that's what's great about the lead community, right? There's areas that we all have strengths and gifts in. There's areas that, we want to continue to grow and develop. And so someone, listening in the lead community or, even outside, they're like, man, I want to know a little bit more on an area, Larry. How do I reach you? Like, how do I, find you on social or, so how could people reach out to you?
Yeah. My email is larryg@hpnaz.org, hpnaz.org. My
We
social media, Instagram at I am Larry Alexander. And yeah, you could reach out to me there. And we're people just like Dave has offered his guidance and leadership to me. If there's anything that I've learned, a lot of what I know is things that I've gotten from other leaders above me. So this isn't something that I've, come up with. And I'm not brilliant like that. I'm just brilliant because I have brilliant people around me. So whatever I
That's
could
what
share.
great leaders do,
Oh
though.
yeah.
That's what
Oh yeah.
we'll have that info in the show notes, Larry, that people can
Awesome.
contact you as well. And well, Larry, appreciate you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for
And
having me.
yeah, man. Well, thanks for being with us today on the Lead 222 podcast. If this has been an encouragement to you, share it with others and rate, review it. It's a way for us to get more info out to others and so that we can help serve other youth pastors to help them lead a healthy life, family, and ministry. Just something also to be aware of. We have a YouTube channel, Lead 222 podcast on YouTube. Subscribe. We're posting different Lead in 5 videos as well as podcasts, but the Lead in 5 are short 5-minute leadership principles to help you lead a healthy life and ministry. So check those out as well. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you are blessed and have a great day. We'll see you next time.